Hey, what's up, friends? I'm Matt Martz. I'm an independent musician. I make psychedelic EDM music. Please check out my music if you would. Today, I wanted to provide kind of a demo and review, I guess, of the product by Space Brain Circuits called the Poly Sequencer. This is the naked version, or kind of the open version. I think it's like a DIY. I purchased mine, already built, but I think that you can purchase them in pieces. I hope that the product's creator maybe can give us a few comments here about this. But I wanted to share it with you because I'm really excited about it. I think it's an awesome product, especially in the price range. It's kind of unbelievable. For me, it was something that was exactly what I was looking for. What I do, at least in a live setting, is psychedelic in the sense that I need room to jam and I need to create space for transitions. I try not to stop a lot when I'm playing live. I want to be able to transition, and therefore I need something like a sequencer that could keep bass lines moving for me beyond the limitation of the native sequencers that are inside of my synthesizer. So I needed an outboard solution like this, and perhaps you do too. So I wanted to share what it is. I have my Space Brain running right here over my controller, and I'm going to show you close-ups of that in just a moment. And what I'm going to do is do this in an active way and show you, I hope in the process, how it works. So yesterday I was working on a studio track, and what I need to do next for this track is write the bass line for the next portion. So I'm going to let you hear some of what that was sounding like yesterday. Okay, so that's what I was writing yesterday. And what I'm about to do is create the next, sort of portion or segment of that song. So I need the bass line, which is what I use the Space Brain sequencer for. And I'm running through the IK Uno synth here, which is, I consider to be a fantastic synth for bass. It's just, to me, it's just kind of built for psychedelic bass. I love it for that reason. So let's take a look at what we need to do. So the bass line would go like this if I were to play it live. You get the idea. So let's create that with the Space Brain now. Okay, so let's build this bass line with the Space Brain, at least the way that I do it, and I'll also try to show you a few things in the process. So here's the unit. As you can see, it's I don't know, I love looking at it. It's pretty interesting with everything exposed on it. So you've got on-off toggle here. This is velocity. You've got low, medium, and high. And this is your timing here. It can do 1-to-1, 1-4, or 1-8. By the time you get to 1-8, those are pretty long notes if you needed that. Okay, so let's talk about how I would do this. The first thing that I'm going to do is create what I would say is like creating the sequence space inside of Space Brain. I'm going to go with the longest step length, which is 128, and I do that simply to provide myself the most freedom that I can in terms of my length, especially if I were jamming, for instance. I'd want the flexibility to do that. To create that, I'm going to come over and I'm going to press and hold the record button for kind of a long time, and you'll see it create the sequence. There it goes. So it's making the sequence, and then it'll eventually stop. There we go. Okay, so now think of it as we've just created our sequence playground, if you will. So let's go back to the bass line that we want to make. I think the most critical thing with the Space Brain is that you allow yourself to get into what I would call the sequence grid in your mind. So you've got to run the Space Brain sequencer as what it is, which is a step-based sequencer. So if you're going to create, for instance, a whole note like I'm about to, you need to do that across a mental sequence grid. So I know, for instance, that this first note, my C here, oh, I'm so sorry, I need to hit record, which is a simple tap. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. As I input the notes, you'll see it register with the green LED to indicate that you've got the note into the unit. But if I want to make a whole note, for instance, I'm going to need to do that across all the steps. So my first C is four steps, I think. But anyway, I'm going to go. Alright, and then I'm going to hit stop. Alright, and if I've done well here, we should have our sequence. Okay, so, well, actually, let me start the Roland. So I'll start our Roland. Oop. Real simple, just stop and play button. So he's our creator here has also incorporated a play on feature. So if I wanted to improvise right now, it will record it, and even though I'm just playing. So let me show you that. And now you can see that our sequence has changed based on the freestyle playing. So and that's the feature that I love. Absolutely love that you can go totally freestyle, and it will, within the sequence grid, it will keep your jam going. And for instance, you could use this to move, to a next part of your song or whatever you need to do. Okay, so let's close by talking about what I consider to be the only limitation of the unit. And I think it's important to use the word limitation and not a word like con, because it's not appropriate to call this a con, because the device does exactly what it's built to do, especially at its price range. So the thing I'm about to describe is perhaps something that would be maybe at a higher price range or that kind of thing, but it's not a con, it's a limitation. So, if you wanted to perform and be able to go, it won't record your input duration, so to speak. That's why it's important to have that mental sequence grid, really combining the work of your mind and the work of the unit, in my opinion. So again, there, like we saw, when you want to make those whole notes, you need to count how long those notes are and be able to kind of put those in. But again, to some degree, you can experiment, because it's kind of feeding back to you your own spontaneous playing, or improvisational playing, I should say. So I don't know. Fantastic unit. I really love it. Thanks for making it. I was pretty surprised to find it in this price range. But at any rate, I just want to kind of let the world know what it is, what it does, and maybe the product's creator can let us know things that maybe I didn't touch on, if perhaps there's like an awesome feature that I didn't even look at. But at any rate, thanks. Please check out my music. yeah, I've got that info here, and peace.